Well, hi all. Today is not February 16th, but today we're talking about February 16th. So today we drove in the bus, or rather rode, from Dunedin to Milford Sound, which is around from the east coast of the South Island, all the way around the bottom, most of the bottom, close to the bottom, to the west coast where the Milford Sound is, where the fjords are. And it was an early morning. We had to have our bags out at 7:15 and our seats on the bus by 7:45. And they had asked us to pack an overnight bag, so that was all that we were going to take on the boat with us when we went into the fjord, the Sound fjord. So driving along, we stopped at 10 o'clock at a town called Gore, and we had coffee, and we had a cheese roll, and our guide told us cheese rolls are what mothers make for everybody, their kids in New Zealand. They're really like grilled cheese sandwiches, but they take white bread and put grilled cheddar cheese in it, then roll it up and bake it in the oven. And that's your cheese roll. So, yeah, it tasted like of course I had to try it, but it tasted like a grilled cheese sandwich. No, there's noise going overhead. Hopefully that won't bother the sound too much. And then, I can't read this writing. Country. Oh, Gore is known for its country music. It's the country music capital of New Zealand. And when we were in Gore, there was a place that sold sweaters. So Jim bought a sweater. Technically, I bought it for him, but it looks great on him. It's a dark gray, and it's possum merino wool.
Yeah.
And it's
And a little bit of silk.
a little silk. Did you want to say something about the possum in it?
So possum was an imported animal that has been a real problem. It's super invasive. It's been a predator of the land birds. It's been eating a lot of crucial trees, and so it's a big pest. But it was imported for its fur. And now the word is that anytime you can buy clothing with possum, you're doing the country a favor. The hairs are very fine and they're hollow, and so therefore they insulate really well even if they're wet. So they have great insulating ability, and so this is kind of the trendy thing now here as far as this blend of merino wool with possum. So I got a sweater of it.
Yep. So at a pretty reasonable price for that kind of thing. So
it's real cheap for me because Terry bought it as a birthday present.
Yes, right. Wait a minute.
That's what you told me.
Oh, that's what I told you. I was thinking maybe it should be a belated Christmas present, but whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, what is this?
Don't worry about that.
Oh, don't worry about that. All right.
Something. It's there aren't no flies on you. Mate.
There aren't no flies on you,
Yeah,
mate. That's what more Maori saying.
Keoa koke e hoa.
And there ain't no flies on you, mate.
Right.
Okay. So it was a really cute town, nice downtown strip, and serves around 10,000 people and mostly farming community. And we did see people downtown in their cowboy boots and hats. Interesting. So then as we drove on, we started to see the Southern Alps, and there were rolling hills, much of it dry, not the green foliage that we've been seeing in other places. And so on to the Southern Alps. So I'm going to let Jim take over now about after we crossed 45th parallel.
Right.
Which was marked on the road. We went into a town called
Te Anau. And Te Anau is on the shores of Lake Te Anau, and Lake Te Anau It is the second largest lake in all of New Zealand. So it's a big lake, long fingers going out. And it's the town of Taian. It was kind of a sportsman's town. There were all sorts of sports shops for hiking gear and boating and fishing and so forth. And all the people there were like mountain bikers and hikers. It was very sporty. We had a really nice lunch there. I had a seafood chowder, which was quite good, with green-lipped mussels. And Terry had
a calamari salad, salt and pepper calamari salad. It was fabulous. It was really, really good.
some other people had cheeseburgers that looked
And they said
really
they were
good.
very good. New Zealand beef. They raise a lot of beef here.
Right. And then we drove on. And we drove on now towards the Alps and up into the Alps. And the Alps are tall mountains. And so we worked our way up into ever more mountainous territory. And shortly after we left Taian, we went into Fiordland National Park. And Fiordland National Park was the first and remains the largest national park in New Zealand. It occupies the whole southwest of the country. And so we went up into the Alps and went down into a tunnel that had been all carved out pretty much by hand in the first half of the 20th century, and came out on the far end of it, and I guess it was what,
Not very
a third
far.
of a mile long, something like that,
Maybe.
1,200 foot long, all through really hard rock.
Yes, and it goes downhill because when our guide, somebody told us they started digging at both ends to meet in the middle, but then they realized that the farther end they had started way below the top. So you have to go down. But in the winter, when it's icy, they said it's kind of tricky spot.
Right.
So,
Anyways, we finally came out to the port of Milford Sound, and there we boarded our boat, the Milford Mariner, and went out in the fjord. So we had been driving from 7:45 in the morning until 3:30 in the afternoon with just a couple brief breaks. So it's a long drive. And we went out in the field, and it turned out to be a beautiful day. This part of New Zealand is rainy most days.
Yeah.
It gets like 32 foot of rain a
it's
year.
either the rainiest or one of the rainiest in the world.
But we had a beautiful sunny day, and we went out past these majestic cliffs and hanging valleys with waterfalls. It hadn't rained in 8 days, they said, which was astonishing.
That's
A
for
drought.
them. Yeah.
But they still had these magnificent waterfalls. There was one of the Princess cruise boats. The Coral Princess was in the fjord when we went there. And as we went out, the wind was just really blowing into our faces, and we thought, "Oh my God!" It was hard to stand up, and we didn't know what it was going to be like because we thought we were going to go swimming or kayaking or something. But we got through the Narrows, and the wind died down, and we anchored, and what did we do?
And then we went kayaking.
Tell me about kayaking.
So they put 23 or something like that kayaks in the water, and we kayaked around the sound, and that was very nice. It was nice.
Yeah. The water was beautiful. It tasted almost fresh, even though it was salt water, because there's all this fresh water that flows down into it that forms a freshwater layer on top.
Yeah, because they said the water is, I don't remember. One of the waters is heavier.
Right.
Anyway, and the fresh water does layer on top of the salt water, so it actually seems like fresh water. But the water in that sound was incredibly clear. So I was hunting for fish, didn't see any, and they said there are 5 of the 7 species of shark that are in New Zealand that are in that sound. Of course, we didn't see any of those either. I did want to say one more thing about the weather, is that the warm breezes from Australia come over to that side of New Zealand, and it dumps all the water as it tries to get up over the Alps. So that's where the water comes from.
Right. So we had dinner on the boat,
Mhm.
which was nice.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember it.
Yeah, it wasn't real special, but it was healthy food.
Serviceable.
Yeah.
And then they said, this weather is so remarkable, so remarkable. We're going to go out and watch sunset on the Tasman Sea.
Mm-hmm.
And so they took the boat out into out of the Sound and into the Tasman Sea.
Mm-hmm.
They said, what? This is only the second time this whole season that they've been able to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And we watched the sunset.
It was great. It was lovely. And the swells were a little more, so the boat was rocking a little, but not really very much. And it was just lovely. And then when the sun had setted, we went back to the interior and one of the sounds to harbor.
Yeah, so back into a cove, back
Yeah.
in the Sound, and we anchored back there.
Mm-hmm.
And the stars were brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
And we went out on the deck, and there were lights from the boat, and so you could see into the water around it, and there were seals out there hunting.
Yeah, you could hear them splashing, and right.
Right.
And then you could see them as they came close to the boat.
I could swear I saw a shark trying to get a seagull. It really looked like it to me.
Yeah, you might
But
have.
nobody else was there to see it.
Mm-hmm. And they said that sometimes the seals get up on the back of the boat, which is the area where people were swimming from. The seals get back up there and they rest during the night and then go out and fish from there and come back.
Right. Anyways, we could look up, and in the starlight we could see the glaciers up on the mountain and the stars up above them. And if we look to the south, we could see the Southern
Cross. Yeah, it was really exciting to be able to see that because we read about it in the James Michener book on Hawaii. So, and the Polynesians using it for navigation.
So that was yesterday.
Yeah,
It was a great day.
yeah. Very nice. Well, love.
Oh,
What?
we haven't explained the background.
Oh, so.
We're in Queenstown,
Mm-hmm.
and this is Lake Wakatipu.
I don't
think
know.
so.
I can't-
Behind us.
Yeah.
Anyways, we'll talk about Queenstown and Lake Wakatipu and how we got here
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow.
Love.
Ta-ta. Bye.